Welcome, trendsetters. We are Alicia and Nicole from Positive Image. As salon owners, hairstylists, and business coaches, we're here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of the beauty industry and discover the secrets to creating a thriving salon business. So grab your favorite beverage, cozy up in your salon chair, and let's dive into the world of hair, style, and entrepreneurship together.
Hey beauties, welcome back to the Positive Image Podcast. This is episode 5 of our How to Open a Salon in Toronto series. I'm Alicia.
And I am Nicole. So today we're going to dig into something that might not sound sexy, but trust us, it is essential. We are talking about your salon policy and procedure manual. Fun.
So much fun. It's what sets the tone for your salon, for how it runs, though. So it is important to have. Sets up the expectations in writing, which keeps things clear and kind. It helps you stay covered with your employee management. And honestly, it helps you show up as a better leader because you are creating that clarity.
All right. So what is your policy and procedure manual? This is kind of what we're going to touch on first. And so let's really get into what it is. Why is this even a thing? So basically, it's a document that outlines how your salon operates. And there are some main sections that we feel that are really important to include in this document. I'll just list them off and then we'll go and break them down shortly. So the first one is about your business, your workplace policies, your client experience standards, the health and safety in your salon, what daily operations look like, and your payroll and compensation basics. So you don't have to be a big salon to need this. Even if it's just you and one other assistant, or even just you, you'll want this in place because you're setting your culture from day one. And when you're busy, you can use it to guide your team on what to do without you. So this is such an important document to have. And again, even if it was just you in there, it's even policies and things that you have to follow. So that way it becomes habit for you when you have a bigger team.
Amazing. Let's walk you through some key sections that you would want to put in this manual. So, as Nicole mentioned about your business, it is going to have your mission statement, your values. It really starts to set the tone for what your business stands for. Workplace policies, so this is like attendance, requesting time off, dress code, social media, confidentiality, and client privacy, your service and retail protocols, as well as termination of employment. And then client experience standards. So how we greet our clients, how we handle complaints, your checkout process, any scripts that you might have. So like answering the phone or like at the cash out process, your customer service standards. So maybe this is like your experience or what your policies are on redos or cancellations, as well as payments, refunds, and rebooking. Then we get into health and safety, so cleaning, tool sanitation, how we dispose of our waste in our space, public health standards, and your daily operations. So that can be your opening and closing checklist. So that, for me, that's my favorite, is just making sure you have those checklist so people actually know what needs to get done on a daily basis. Inventory, so ordering and how we process things for back bar. Maybe it includes your music, lighting, towels, and then payroll and compensation basics. So your pay periods, pay structure, like is it commission versus hourly? You don't need to actually include the numbers, just what the structure is. Any deductions, holiday periods, outlining how vacations work, and then, of course, any long-term sick leave, whether that's maternity, paternity, death in the family, jury duty, et cetera, et cetera. This definitely probably feels like a lot. So pause the podcast, rewind, replay it, get your notepad, whatever you need to do. It'll be here and you can just keep replaying it as many times as you need to and go over it again and again. we'll talk about this again later, but when this is done, you'll be including an acknowledgement page. So you'll have your team read it, sign, and acknowledge that they have read it.
Yeah, and that is so important to have that the piece of paper that says that yes, I have read this because it essentially protects you at the end of the day. This is such an important piece of paper for you to have. I'll get into a bit of a story with in my shop where we had an employee who was there for about a year. She um, did not follow the policies and procedures properly, and we had to do a verbal warning, a written warning, and then finally we let her go with cause. And so she came back to the labor board and put a complaint in for me. So I actually had to provide my policies and procedure manual, the written warning where it cited what she was offending and everything like that. And so we got very lucky that nothing came of that because I had all of these documents in place. So this is so important, and this is why it protects you and why this is really good to have as a standard and in place. It also can it so it protects you legally and professionally, and it also can take some of the workload off of you where your team can simply look up how to do something and what needs to get done rather than asking you and bugging you while you're with a client saying like, hey, where does this go? Or hey, how do I do this? Or hey, how do I do that? You can always just be it's in the manual. It's in the manual. So it really helps prevent any misunderstandings. It gives you legal backup in disputes. It really supports the HR conversations that you have with your team on your one on ones, or even if you have to have a disciplinary meeting with them. It really helps the salon run without you micromanaging every single step. And it also creates consistency and clarity.
Amazing.
Have you had to use your manual for firing, hiring, or really focusing on like implementing the policies?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, my policies are really big. They're quite lengthy, and I don't know if we touched on it yet, but I have two. So like your salon day-to-day things and then your more just employment standards. Um, but sometimes, especially as salon owners or business owners and managing not only our chair, but then our team and all the day-to-day things, you forget what you wrote. So if I'm gonna say I use them mostly for like, wait, what is my policy on this? Okay, no, I am correct. The thing that's happening here, it is correct. This has been communicated. Let's do a little reminder, like maybe it's time we need to review this. As well, I do find we are a bit more consistent when I regularly incorporate like little tidbits, like even if it's just the policy as a paragraph, just incorporating that into our monthly team meetings. It just helps keep everyone like on the same page and reminded of what's happening because honestly, it's like every 3 months and people forget um, what you said. So at this point, it's just human nature. I'm not really upset at it. It just is what it is.
And did you find it easy to create both documents? Like when you're building it, how did you do
No, it was awful.
it?
Yeah, because I mean, I definitely used different templates I found online, and then I think I had asked a couple of friends with same or similar types of businesses. I think you and I have also shared each other's
hmm
back and forth as well, just to compare things we might have missed. And honestly, especially like, we're such hands-on people, and I like the business side, but it's just so hard to sit down and type things and like pen to paper make it happen. So I would say it probably took a long time for me to finalize it and a lot of procrastination. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by this episode and doing it, understand that that's fair.
You're not alone.
There, you're not alone. There are a lot of pieces, and you'll get there. You'll get there. Divide it out, make it bite-sized pieces. Don't look at it and be like, I have to finish everything this weekend. Just be like, I'm going to finish this one topic, and go from there. You?
I kind of did the same thing where I had a few other for examples, and then that allowed me to get really clear on like, okay, I like this, but what do I want in my salon? Like even starting with like, what are my hours? Or working with the brands, like, okay, so if my brand is more eco-friendly, inclusive, how do I continue this through the policies? So paying attention to like the wording and the verbiage that is being used, um, even having like we do have a printer, but minimizing the printer, you know, we email receipts rather than printing them off so that is in the policies and procedures so that we can have a more of an environmental footprint. But I love your like really kind of keep it small and work on small little bite-sized pieces, because it can get so overwhelming with when it comes to a huge document, or even the thought of having two.
100%. 100%. I don't know about you, but for me, I have two just because I feel like they're separate to like for my brain to organize. But you you listeners can do whatever you want, whatever feels right. So let's get into how we even build one. So you want to definitely take time to sit down. I don't know, give yourself a long weekend, time away, no distractions, where you can just sit and think in a creative sense, not in like, let's do work sense. Let's be creative. And sometimes it also helps if you have time to be at the salon alone, like when it's closed, and you can just walk around and think of the things that happen on a day-to-day basis.
That's a really good tip, actually. I've never thought of doing that. So I really like that.
When when I'm at the salon, I remember so much more than when I'm sitting at home. So we don't want to overcomplicate it because we already know that this is a lot. So you're gonna start with a Google Doc or Canva, whatever. Maybe it's just pen and paper, Nicole style, pen and paper, and just start writing down some notes. Walk around the salon,
Sticky notes everywhere.
sticky notes everywhere. Oh my gosh. Maybe you do it over like the Christmas break and you just close the salon for the week or something. I don't know. And you just like put sticky notes everywhere. I don't know. Anyways, that sounds like a lot of fun. Um,
But not environmentally friendly.
no, that's okay. That's okay. Start writing down those key areas that we listed at the beginning of the podcast. You want to make notes in those, like your non-negotiables. And then you're going to expand from there. You'll also want to check into your ESA laws, so your Employment Standards Act, because you can't just make up your own rules when it comes to employment laws. You need to follow those and make sure that you're in line with what Ontario says you must do. And then once we've gotten that started, you'll want to like the key areas, you want to make sure those headings are in bold or like separated somehow so it's easier for you to see and it's not just a page of words. Don't overthink it. Just put it down. Put down what you do day to day. And you can separate things from like the cash register to greeting a client to your service steps to cleaning to, even if you are already open, or maybe you aren't open, which is the point of these episodes, and you've just had things happen at the salon that you work at now. Start thinking about all the different employee interactions that you've had with your boss and how you liked that they went, or you would have liked that they went. Or maybe there's some things that you learned during those interactions, and start writing those things down as well. For me, I would find that this is easier on a computer just because then I can cut and paste and move things around. But again, we all have different brains, so whatever works for you. And then you're going to want to continue to revise, especially in the first year or two. I would probably say quarterly is a good time to see what's working, what's not working, because this is something that needs to be continuously updated. Things change, things are always changing, and sometimes we write down what makes sense in our head, and then our team goes to do it, and we're like, oh, yeah, I see how that reads like that, but that is not what I meant. Cool, 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 cool. We're gonna adjust that. Those are little revisions that you don't think about.
There's so many good points in there too that I love the idea of like if you are working for somebody right now and you are dreaming of having your own place, like so much emphasis of keep front of mind how you feel during certain conversations and how your current employer addresses those topics. Because I know there's a lot of stuff that I've done in my salon to shape what my salon is based on previous expectations. And I never want my staff to feel a certain way. And I think, I have to ask my staff, but I think everybody is very happy with the way that I can conduct the things that have really upset me when I've been an employee somewhere else. So I guess after you kind of have not a rough idea, but like a good copy or good policy and you're ready to show it to your team, you will want them to read it. You can have like I know I've introduced them at the meetings. So when we have our team meetings, we can bring this in as a point in the meeting, just saying this is the new policy and procedure manual. Or if you have updated them, let them know it is a living document. So this is the updating. And you guys can go through it together or you can go through sections together. And if you're the type of leader that likes to make it collaborative, you can do that, especially with like senior staff or people who have been there. And so that's how I would introduce this to your team and start implementing the policies and procedures. And any policy and procedure that you have in there that you yourself can't abide by, I would probably not include it in there because you need to make sure that you can follow the structure that you're setting out in there in order for your team to follow it. So that's why you want to be consistent across the board and you want to I find making it collaborative really helps. Yes, there are going to be some areas that you aren't going to budge on, but maybe somebody on your team has a better way or has a better idea of what that's going to look like for you or how that policy should be worded or stated or changed. So it's really not about micromanaging, it's all about clarity. So that old saying, clear is kind. At the end of the document too, you could even add like a frequently asked questions section for new staff. If you have the two policies, you have your procedure one and your policy. In the procedure one, you can include screenshots of like the booking software process. That's where your cleaning checklists. And that one you could even make as a live document, say on Google Docs, that your staff could even go in and update if you need to at the end of the day. Okay, so what are our final takeaways for this?
Final takeaways, policies and procedures are definitely a must-have. Whether you have one or two, it's up to you. Just keeping it clear and kind. It's always a good idea for your more employment side ones to have a lawyer look over it just to make sure you didn't miss anything and that you are in compliance with ESA laws. These policies can protect you legally. It sets team expectations. It reflects your values and where you're going. And it builds a professional foundation that grows with you. I would also say with that, in the past, I've had a very extensive role tree, organization role tree in my policies. And I really enjoyed how it made my team feel excited for what other things they could do in the company and other places that they could see that I wanted to take the company.
Can you explain a
Hmm
bit more what a role tree is?
So I think I went into like CEO, um, marketing, finance department, um, lead educator, lead art director. I can't think of right now, but just different things like that, where it was saying like it's not just me and you. It's not just like me, the boss who owns the place, and then all the hairstylists, and then maybe an apprentice or two. It was that there was structure that looked more like a corporation where there was actual potential opportunity for furthering roles, whether it was that they were doing just that or they were just doing a little bit of that, that there could be a possibility that I wanted the company to grow much bigger than just my tiny little mom and pop shop.
I love that. I like the kind of the think big
Hmm
aspect of that too. Like it's not just you're not just a hairdresser. Like you're coming to work for this company, but the growth opportunities within my company, if you choose or if you have a like if you really love numbers and you want to work in more of the finance as a side associate in the shop,
Yeah.
then this is what, so come and talk to me. I absolutely love that. I don't think a lot of owners are ever thinking, I don't think many owners are thinking about this at all. So that perspective is such a unique, and you just add so much more value to your team because of that. So what a great idea. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So that's coming to a wrap. Next episode, we're going to dive into hiring your first team member. Speaking of team organization setup, what to look for, where to find them, and how to set them up for success.
And what we wish we knew before our first hire too. So chat with you next time on our last episode in our summer series. So hope you're enjoying it, and we will see you next time.
Ciao. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Take this knowledge and just keep developing yourself. And hey, we want to hear from you too. Join the conversation using our hashtag Positive Image Podcast. Share your thoughts, questions, and success stories. Who knows, we might just feature you on an upcoming episode. Don't keep us a secret, tag your friends too. Want to keep learning? Check out our show notes. Find us on Instagram at hello.positiveimage, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode filled with inspiration and insights.